Just to sort of go back to the injury for a second, I don't think we ever really heard with Brandon Scherf what exactly was the injury and what's your sense of his timeline?
Leg.
Okay, there was a report of a sprained MCL, knee or something. Does that jive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is obviously, you've had difficult weeks at other points since you've been here. This is another one. How do you get, having already gone through other challenging times, how has this week, I guess, it been in comparison, and how have you sensed the guys are getting through it?
Well, I appreciate the way the fellas focused in. You know, again, we talk about it, and that's paying attention to, you know, what's important at the moment. And for us, it's focusing in on Sunday. You know, our guys handled those situation circumstances pretty well. Got a little snicker a little bit because I think, unfortunately, we've had to deal with a few things, and the guys, I think, have been able to compartmentalize things, and you know, when they're here, so they're able to focus. I thought they handled it well.
How did Curtis respond after missing a couple of days and being able to be out there for limited today?
I thought he did a nice job. He looked good. We'll see how he is tomorrow morning, you know, but if he continues to trend in the right way, we'll see how he is, but I think he's trending in the right way.
And then just a question on the training staff now with Bubba. What is he actually able to do? Is he, like, in terms of, you know, what can he work with players? Is he going to be at the game Sunday?
He's just a volunteer to help us get through the day, you know, just some basic stuff, very, very basic stuff.
So are you kind of on the look for maybe more help then, or?
Yeah, just so you guys know, we're gonna have a couple of our interns come back in, just some extra hands and help out. That's pretty much it, and they'll be here, you know, until as needed.
Athletic training interns.
Yeah.
With two receivers out, Logan Thomas out, Curtis questionable, what kind of stress does that put on Terry McLaurin? How does that change things for him, just in terms of not having that extra help on the other side?
I don't think it puts a lot of stress on Terry. I think the guys that we've brought in, the guys that we have, are more than capable. You know, and we've seen it. We've seen it in the games. The thing will be the guy that'll be fun to watch will be DeAndre. He'll get a little more opportunities, and you know, based on what we saw last week when he came in the fourth quarter and made the big catch and run, he has a skill set that suits some of the things that we can do. So it'll be, like I said, he'll be interesting to watch.
Kind of feels like your offensive line has been overlooked for the way they've played. It seems like they've held up pretty well, especially even after Sheriff went out, Wes Schweitzer stepping in. What have you seen from that group, and are you surprised at all by the way they've played?
No, I'm not surprised. I think it's a well-coached group. I think it's a deep group. In fact, I think some of the things that we did last year showed that it's a deep group just because of the guys that played. You know, Wes Schweitzer steps up in terms of the next man up, and he did a solid job, very good job, in fact. You know, very pleased with who Cornelius Lucas is for us. You know, here's a guy that played, started a bunch of games for us, so we're very fortunate to have guys like that. You know, Tyler Larson, a guy I'm very familiar as a backup center. You know, that's exciting. The guy that keeps developing and he's fun to watch is Sadiq Charles, and right now he's one of those primary backup guys that has a very important role for us. So we feel good about what we've done as far as getting the depth, and hopefully we can maintain it and keep it, and we can get healthy and stay healthy.
What do you think Sadiq's role could be in the future? Maybe not even just the rest of this year. What could he develop into?
Wow, you know, because he's shown a lot of good position flex, and it's one of those things where it may be as needed, and we'll see how the offseason goes, because it'll be a very difficult, challenging one for us as far as personnel is concerned. But when you got guys that are, again, position flex, you know, you can fill needs. So it'll be interesting to watch when we get to the offseason.
Kind of a random one, but as the game has gotten faster and spread out, do you think pocket awareness for quarterbacks' ability to extend plays with their legs has gotten more important?
Yes, it has. It really has. And what you see, though, is you see, because of the quarterback's mobilities, I've seen a few more routes go a little deeper, a little more vertical than they used to. And so when you can move in the pocket, avoid, step up, and deliver, it gets to be pretty impressive, the numbers, just because of how many balls are being thrown and how deeper the routes are getting run.
Is that something you can teach, that pocket awareness, or is it natural?
Well, I wouldn't say it's natural. I think it's just innate, after you've done it for a period of time, it becomes second nature to a lot of these guys, Some guys never develop it. And it's probably because their focus gets so much downfield, And then some guys can get too much pocket awareness, and instead of getting their eyes downfield, now they got their eyes looking around. So there's a fine line between developing it for the good and developing it too much.
Obviously, you knew Taylor before you signed him, but I'm curious, how much did you look into his XFL career at all when considering to sign him? Did you look into it?
No, we knew who he was for us, and we knew he would fit us, and we knew he'd be a guy that if something came up, he'd be ready to roll. That's how he was when he was in Carolina. It's the same thing with Kyle. These are guys that are similar in skill set, similar in football intelligence, and you just knew that if we needed to, they would be ready for us.
Yeah, the fact that he was a backup in the XFL, what do you kind of make of that, especially with what he's doing now, too?
Oops. I mean, coaching's an inexact science sometimes when it comes to evaluating. We're not all the best evaluators, and we make mistakes too. And maybe Taylor didn't show something, and that's too bad because he's showing us exactly what he's capable of, and it's been exciting.
The fact that he hasn't been able to. You can't really replicate what he can do in terms of his legs and stuff during practice. Do you think that hurts a quarterback in terms of evaluation? If you're just focused.
Well, yeah, when you're just going strictly off of training camp and practices, yeah, it can, because you see the whole scope of who he is when the action starts. With his ability to slide in the pocket, step up in the pocket, or bail and get out of the pocket and make something happen. That's a pretty valuable skill set. Now, at the same time, he's got to continue to grow and understand that, hey, if once I do that, I expose myself, I just got to be ready to protect myself.
Pete and then Chris, last two.
William Jackson said he's still experiencing a bit of a learning curve there at
Yep.
corner. Just where do you think he is in his kind of ingratiation?
Well, I think he's still developing. I mean, he's a very skilled young man. I mean, he's got quickness and he's got speed, but there's some things that he's got to continue to work and develop on. We know he's a good cover man, and what we have to be really careful is that we're working so hard trying to get to have that feel and understanding for zone awareness that we don't want to take away what his real good skills are. So we've just got to help continue to develop it. I don't disagree with him saying that because he's a guy that is a little bit of a work in progress in terms of just learning. It's I mean when really it's, hey, you line up and take that guy all the time, that's easy. But now he's got to do a few more things and it's just crazy because he's got such a good skill set. And as he gets, I think comfortable is probably the better word for it. When he gets comfortable with the techniques, you'll really see it because then he'll understand when to take those chances and when not to. That's probably a better thing to say is that just learning and developing that feel that you need that says, hey, I can look through this and take that chance and make that play. Because when he's in man, you see it. You see he's physical, you see he's all over it. But when you get to the zone awareness, you see a little more tentativeness because you don't want to be wrong. It's probably another good thing to say about it because he works at it so hard.
And when him and Kendall are various levels, steps away from a receiver, is that kind of based on their feel, or is that the defensive scheme? Like on this
Just
play,
depends.
you're this far away.
It really does depend. Because again, especially when they're on part of the underneath coverage, there's a landmark, but there's also a match to that landmark. Hey, I'm working this part of the zone, and who enters my zone, I got to start to match. And so there's a little bit of feel and understanding that because, again, sometimes if the quarterback's looking at you, now I've got to read his eyes as to which area should I match. And that's part of it, too.
Ron, I think we asked you about Sean Payton on Wednesday, but don't think we asked about Jameis Winston. You obviously saw him up front twice a year in the NFC South when you were in Carolina and he was in Tampa Bay. How different does he look? How, maybe has he addressed some of, I guess, what got him to struggle at times in Tampa?
Well, the thing that I've seen with him, and again, got a chance to watch all 4 of his games and watch the things that he did, you can see that he's developing into a guy that's learning to read and understand through what Coach Payton's trying to do. I mean, what he does is not simple, in my opinion. I think he's a great play caller, great play designer, so there's some complexity to it. You all right? Oh, okay. I thought maybe you disagreed with something I said. Holy cow. But I think he's learning it, you know, because again, it's not simple, you know. For all these years, he was in one style. Then last year, he started to see some of the things that they do. And now it's trying to, I think, find what he does best, and now starting to implement those things. And you know, he's got a tremendous skill set in terms of mobility as a quarterback. He's got a good arm. He can sit and deliver a good ball. And the thing that concerns me is his ability to throw the deep ball, because I've seen that.